The Cursed Monastery. Prologue. Hidden deep within the Carpathian Mountains lies the abandoned St. Michael Monastery, a place steeped in legend and darkness. For centuries it has been left to decay, its sinister history whispered among the locals. They say the monastery is cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who perished within its walls. Chapter 1. The Historian's Quest. Dr. Jonathan Harris, a renowned historian, arrives in the nearby village, determined to uncover the truth behind the monastery's dark past. Despite the villagers' warnings, he is driven by an insatiable curiosity and a belief that the monastery holds secrets that could redefine history. Chapter 2. The Monastery's Gate. Jonathan reaches the monastery, its looming structure imposing against the backdrop of the mountains. The air is thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant cries of ravens. As he steps through the rusted gates, he feels an inexplicable chill, as if the very walls are watching him. Chapter 3. The Hidden Chamber. Exploring the crumbling hallways, Jonathan discovers a hidden chamber beneath the monastery. Inside, he finds ancient manuscripts and relics that tell of a dark ritual performed by the monks centuries ago. The texts speak of summoning a powerful entity, promising eternal life, but at a dreadful cost. Chapter 4. The First Night. On his first night in the monastery, Jonathan is plagued by disturbing dreams. He sees hooded figures chanting in an unknown language, their faces obscured by darkness. He wakes to find strange symbols etched into the floor around his bed, symbols matching those in the manuscripts. Chapter 5. The Ghostly Monk. Jonathan encounters the ghost of a monk named Brother Thomas, who reveals the true horror of the monastery's past. The monks, driven by greed and fear of death, performed a ritual that unleashed a malevolent spirit. The entity granted them eternal life, but it came with eternal torment, binding their souls to the monastery. Chapter 6. The Abbot's Diary. In the abbot's quarters, Jonathan finds a diary detailing the descent into madness. The abbot writes of the monks' increasing paranoia, their fear of the entity they had summoned, and the horrific punishments meted out to those who tried to leave. The diary ends abruptly with a final chilling entry. The entity demands a sacrifice. Chapter 7. The Sacrificial Altar. Jonathan discovers the sacrificial altar in the monastery's chapel, stained with centuries-old blood. He realizes that the entity requires a regular offering to maintain its grip on the monks' souls. The room is filled with an overwhelming sense of dread, and Jonathan feels the entity's presence growing stronger. Chapter 8. The Village Connection. Back in the village, Jonathan learns of a long-forgotten pact between the villagers and the monastery. The villagers provided the sacrifices, believing it would protect them from the entity's wrath. As the sacrifices dwindled, the entity's anger turned towards the monastery, cursing it and trapping the monks. Chapter 9. The Reluctant Ally. Jonathan meets Elena, a local woman whose family has long been the keepers of the monastery's secrets. Reluctantly, she agrees to help him, revealing a hidden passage that leads to the monastery's heart. Together, they prepare to confront the entity and break the curse. Chapter 10. The Entity Revealed. In the depths of the monastery, Jonathan and Elena come face to face with the entity, a formless shadow that exudes pure malevolence. It taunts them with visions of their deepest fears and regrets. Jonathan realizes that the entity feeds on fear and despair, growing stronger with each passing moment. Chapter 11. The Final Ritual. Determined to end the entity's reign, Jonathan and Elena decide to perform a counter-ritual found in the manuscripts. The ritual requires great personal sacrifice and unwavering resolve. As they begin, the entity unleashes its full fury, shaking the very foundations of the monastery. Chapter 12. The Battle of Wills. The ritual becomes a battle of wills, with Jonathan and Elena struggling to maintain their focus amid the entity's relentless assault. The air is thick with darkness, and the shadows seem to come alive, grasping at them with icy fingers. The chapel resonates with the entity's unearthly screams. Chapter 13. The Light in the Darkness. As the ritual reaches its climax, a blinding light erupts from the altar, dispelling the shadows. The entity lets out a final, agonizing wail before being banished back to the abyss. The monks' tortured spirits are released, their faces showing a moment of peace before fading into the light. Chapter 14. The Aftermath. The monastery falls silent, its oppressive atmosphere lifted. Jonathan and Elena stand in the chapel, exhausted but triumphant. They know that the entity is gone, but the cost has been high. The monastery remains a place of sorrow, a reminder of the dangers of seeking power at any cost. Chapter 15. The Legacy. Jonathan returns to his studies, documenting the true history of St. Michael Monastery. The villagers, once fearful and suspicious, begin to find closure. Elena continues to protect the secrets of the monastery, ensuring that its dark past is never forgotten. The curse is broken, but the lessons learned will echo through history.